The UFC is at the White House this weekend, and they have made most of these favorites minus 600, minus 500, but I'm not coming here and giving you a bet of those odds. I have a juicy, slight favorite number for you today for this week's hammer. We have been on a hot streak in the Elite Zone, my private betting community, cashing week after week after week. 90 units in the last 5 weeks I have won, and the hammer itself, this video series, has been on a good run as well, cashing not only the hammers but the ladders. In this video I'm going to give you an absolute banger of a bet. It may not be the flashy pick, but it is the profitable one. Welcome to Lucrative Hammer of the Week. So welcome back to Hammer of the Week, guys, where I tell you the best betting spot on the entire UFC fight card. And this week the fight card we have is a special one. It is UFC Financial Freedom 250. I'm copywriting that one as well, boys. And it is taking place on the south lawn of the White House. We have Ilia Topuria taking on Justin Gaethje in the main event. That is sure to deliver absolute fireworks. In the co-main event, somebody is going to be crowned the new UFC interim heavyweight champion as Cyril Gane takes on Alex Pereira. If Pereira can beat Gane, boys, and we might be speaking about that fight, if Pereira can beat Gane, he is going to be the only ever freeweight world champion in UFC history. There's loads of other great fights on the card as well, boys, but I'm not going to go through the entire fight card with you. We're here for only one thing. We're here for the best bet. Before we get into that, please do me a favor. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's the easy and free way to show me that you appreciate these videos. And if you don't know what these videos are, every single week I come on my YouTube channel and I make this video Hammer of the Week, right? It's a weekly YouTube video series where I tell you the best betting spot on the entire UFC fight card, or the best bet that I believe has the most value, or just a bet that I want to give out. And I always say that, you know, Hammer of the Week is not about giving you guys minus 500 favorites. Ilia Topuria is minus 550. I'm very confident he wins this weekend. I'm not giving him as Hammer of the Week. If I wanted to maintain my W streak, I'd give Ilia Topuria out and move on. But I want to give you guys something that has good odds. So it's not always about giving you the most confident pick on the entire fight card, because the most confident pick is minus 550s, minus 600 most weeks, right? But it's just about giving you a bet I deem worthy. Not only that, but I make 15 plus bets every single fight card. I'm a high volume, aggressive better by design, because I think it's the best way to tackle the game. And so I make loads of bets every week. If you want all of my bets, the link is in the bio for that. Don't rely on this one bet to make all your profit, because I don't rely on this one bet to make all of my profit. I spread my stake out like you're supposed to do as a sports bettor over multiple different positions. So if you want my multiple different positions to where I'm having many max bets on this card, or at least maybe I'm having many max bets on this card, I'm going to make my final bets and send them out to my private betting community later tonight. It's going to be a massive card for us, put it that way, boys. If you want all of those bets, you know where to go. The link is in the bio for that. And I'll get into this week's hammer in 1 second. I want to do a recap, as I always do, the most transparent in the game. So last week, we completely crushed Hammer of the Week. Every single ladder hit, as it often does, not only the hammer. We gave out Ketlin Souza at odds of minus 285, I think it was, 280. We also gave out Souza to win inside the distance in my ladder to hammer section at plus 225 odds. We also gave out Souza to win via KO at odds of plus 450. So not only did we cash the minus 280, we cashed the plus 450 as well. That now brings the overall Hammer of the Week record to 17 wins, 11 losses. And not only that, but we've also hit 22 ladder rungs. So that's an extra 22 bets that we have hit. These are numbers I'm extremely proud of, and it really shows you the power of the ladder to hammer section, where we are hitting plus money time and time and time again. It's crazy the amount of plus money we have hit on this show since it started. And stick around to the end of the show if you want to hear the ladder to hammer section, because I'll be giving out a bunch of plus money again there. So let's try and continue our streak, boys. Let's try and add to our record with the next Hammer of the Week, which I'll show you right now.
Excuse me, President. I've just received word the Lucrative hammer is ready to be deployed.
Excellent. Bring in James now, please.
Yo, Mr. President, thanks for having me at the White House, man. This fight card is going to go crazy.
My pleasure, James. I've been told you have the presidential hammer ready to be deployed.
That is correct, Mr. President.
Incredible. I can't wait to add it to all my parlays and cash some big-ass tickets to celebrate my birthday.
There it is, lads. It is Cyril Gane versus Alex Pereira over 2.5 rounds at odds of minus 140. Now, boys, it was slim pickings for me this week on Hammer of the Week. We only had 7 fights to choose from. Loads of those fights, the opponents are minus 400 or higher. For 5 out of the 7 fights, we have a massive favorite and a massive underdog. So there wasn't too much to choose from. And I know you're thinking, James, are you really betting it over in an Alex Pereira fight? The guy coming up to heavyweight with insane power. And yes, I'm really betting an over in an Alex Pereira fight, because if you have not noticed, he is fighting Cyril Gane. And I believe that Cyril Gane is one of the king of overs. Now, Cyril Gane has very, very elite footwork for MMA specifically. Remember, this is an MMA fight. This is not a kickboxing fight. And while these guys will kickbox for the most part, it's still going to be fought at MMA distance, at MMA range. The ring is different because it's not a ring, it's an octagon. And it's not just a 1-for-1 scenario. There's a reason why Alex Pereira had a full striking fight with Magomed Ankalaev in the first fight, and it went to a decision because Magomed Ankalaev was fainting in the wrestling, which I do believe Cyril Gane will do. He was clinching, cage pressing, which I do believe Cyril Gane will do. And also the gloves are smaller, etc., etc. The reason I'm making the distinctions from MMA and kickboxing is because I know a lot of people will think, Alex is an elite kickboxer, and now they're giving him a kickboxer, someone who basically is not going to wrestle him, so he has a good chance of knocking him out. Of course, he has a good chance of knocking him out. I mean, Alex Pereira is minus 110, so it's a pick him at the moment, and obviously his most likely win condition is a knockout. I just personally think Cyril Gane has the footwork in MMA. If they was in a kickboxing ring, it would be different. Like I said, the range is different, the gloves are different, there's a lot of different things. You can't feint the takedowns, nothing like that. Alex has to only worry about the striking, right? But in a MMA octagon, I think the Cyril Gane has the footwork to outmaneuver Alex Pereira, at least early. I think Alex may get to him at some point, and I've done a full breakdown on this fight, which I'm not going to do right now on my full card breakdown video. It's on my YouTube channel right now. You can go and watch it if you want. The same YouTube channel after this one. Just open it up in another tab and watch it after this video finishes. But I just feel like Alex Pereira and Cyril Gane stylistically match up to where the fight goes into the later rounds. Round 3. Round 4. I think those are the rounds things will start heating up. I think early Cyril Gane's going to be on his bike. He's not going to want to test the power of Alex Pereira early. It would be a silly thing to do that. And I also don't think Alex Pereira is, I know that it's not about I don't think. Alex Pereira is not the type of fighter to start really hot, pressure heavily. He did it against Magomed Ankalaev. Maybe he just says, F it, I'm going to do it here. But I think he'll get stung, he'll get countered, and then they'll be like, you know what? Let me just revert back to what I've always done, which is stand on the back foot a little bit, allow yourself to be pressured at times, to start to rack up calf kicks, slow your opponent's movement, and then hit them when they're close to stationary with big shots, left hook, etc., etc. I think that's what Alex will do in this fight. Try to stalk Cyril Gane and over time break him down with the calf kick and the punches. And I think Cyril Gane is going to know that, and he's going to oblige in it, stay on the outside, jab, 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 obviously land some, big shots as well. But I think he'll want to stay away from Alex's power early, and I think Alex will want to test out heavyweight and not rush into Cyril Gane early as well. So I think, those two things combined make for this fight going a little bit later. And they've set the line at 2.5 rounds, which I think is pretty generous. And I like the minus 140 price tag, which I think is pretty generous as well. I think this fight goes over either all the way to decision or in the later rounds. And that is the Hammer of the Week. It's a risky bet as always. If I wanted to be risk adverse, I would place a massive favorite. I would bet Mauricio Ruffi, odds of minus 800. I would give him out as the Hammer of the Week, or Ilia Topuria, just one of the two biggest favorites on the card. Ilia Topuria minus 550, but I'm trying to give you a minus 140, not a minus 550, right? So yes, there's some risk involved in this one, but I like the bet. In a moment, we're going to go to the best section of the entire show, which is Ladder the Hammer, which is where I give you nice, juicy plus money to go with this Hammer of the Week. So I'm going to give you multiple other bets. Before we get into that, I want you to comment your Hammer of the Week down below. And if it cashes, I'm going to shout you out on next week's episode, as I do every single week. So quick rewind to last week. Here are some of the comments that crushed last week. One that I noticed is this from Hockey Review 101. And he's congratulating me on my bet. So I appreciate that, man. Thanks for your congratulations. But it brings up a really important point that I wanted to mention very quickly. So he said that after my rough patch, which every sports bettor will go through, he faded me. Right? But then we went through a green patch and we started cashing loads. So he obviously lost his bets because he was fading me. Now, this is a life cycle of somebody who buys picks and who fades and bets based on what they hear from other sports bettors or social media cappers. The life cycle is that, and it happens to me with my audience, my comments, and all of my subscribers to my service too, right? They'll see me or anybody else go through a hot streak, and then they'll jump on the hot streak after the guy's been on a hot streak for many weeks, because now they know that the hot streak is legit. On the first week of the hot streak, it's not a hot streak yet. You have to have multiple weeks of winning in a row for it to be classified as a hot streak. So someone will go for a hot streak, they'll jump on, they'll buy the guy's picks, or they'll start copying their bets, and then the guy will go through an inevitable drawdown, right? The guy will go through a cold streak. And then the person who bought the picks will be really upset about the cold streak, and then they will leave them, and in some cases, like Hockey Review, even fade them. But then the guy will go on a hot streak again, right? The capper will go on a hot streak again. And the person who's fading them or is now unsubscribed from the service or not following their bets anymore will either lose money from fading them or not earn any money because they left their service. And they will repeat this cycle until they are broke. This is the life cycle of somebody who buys picks. I know this because I've been selling my information on Sportsbet, my private betting community, for 5+ years now. So I understand deeply the psychology behind someone who buys picks. I cannot stress this enough, boys. Sports bettors, not just myself, are going to go through hot streaks and cold streaks. That is the nature of the game. There's no more to it. If you sign up with somebody, do not leave them after a cold streak if they have a legitimate tracked record that you can verify that they are legitimate for many, many years of profitable results. Of course, if they're just capping about their results like most people do, and then you join them, you shouldn't have joined them in the first place, right? But if this guy is legitimate, and it doesn't have to be me, there are legitimate sports bettors out there. 99% of people on social media are fakes and frauds, but there are a 1%, and I'm not the only person in the 1%. There are other 1% who actually are legit at this game and have a long-term 5-6 year tracked history of winning. If you sign up for their service, right, don't leave after a cold streak. It's the most idiotic thing you could ever do because you're not going to be there for the win streak. If they are a long-term winner, then that's all you need to know. Just stick with them for the long term and you will be a winner as well. Very important piece of betting psychology that I see almost everybody who buys picks go through. So don't let that be yourself. Word of warning. Now, a couple of guys who smashed the hammer of the weeks are here. If your name is here, any of you are here, give yourself a pat on the back. You did well. Hammer of the week completed, but there is still more work to do. It is never the end. If you lost last week, don't worry. We can bounce back this week. If you won last week, you have to keep the streak going. So yeah, comment your hammer of the week down below, boys, along with the ladders and stuff. And if you smash it, I'll shout you on next week's show. And quick one before we move on, boys. Like I said, hammer of the week's not my only play. If you want to get all of my bets, the link is in the bio, sublaunch.com/lucrative MMA. I have literally some of the best numbers on the entire planet, literally some of the best numbers ever recorded in sports betting history. I'm not going to go into all the numbers now. People know the numbers. Starting from the start of my service, when I started it, a 10K bankroll would have turned into over 500K. That's $500,000. These are all legitimate numbers, tracked third party. That's it. I'm not going to go into the numbers, boys. If you want to join, the link is in the bio. That's it. Oh, one thing as well, I'm actually doing a discount for this card only. If you hit the link in the pinned comment, so the comment section, the pinned comment, that will take you to a checkout page which has the coupon code FREEDOM. And for the first 250 people that join, I'm giving you $100 off a monthly membership. Absolute peanuts you get the monthly membership for. If you can't see the comment, you can just go to the link in the bio, sublaunch.com/lucrative MMA. Click Elite Monthly, has to be Elite Monthly, to join the Elite Zone. And in the coupon section, type FREEDOM and you'll get a $100 discount. The biggest discount I've done all year, one of the biggest discounts I've ever done, and I'm doing it for this special White House card. So congratulations, you're welcome, let's cash it. But yeah, let's move on now, boys. We'll get to the favorite section of the show now. We finally made it, which is Ladder the Hammer. I love this section, boys. This is where we add on some usually plus money prop bets that we can add on and stack on top of our main Hammer of the Week. So we got the over 2.5 rounds down here, right, for Hammer of the Week, and that doesn't give us too many options because we can't do a round 1 or round 2 knockout. We don't really want to do a knockout either because we're kind of going against our own over 2.5 play. We could play maybe a knockout in round 3 or round 4. We could do that. So boys, for the first, second rung of our ladder, however you want to call it, we're going to go with fight goes to decision at odds of +200. We're going to say that it goes all 5 rounds. And for the third and final rung of our ladder, we're going to take Cyril Gane via decision at odds of +370. So I know we can't root for an Alex Pereira knockout in this one. we're going to have to root for an over 2.5 rounds. If we're rooting for Alex knockout, we need to root for it in the 4th and 5th round, and at least we cash out over 2.5 rounds play. But if it goes to decision, it's another red panty night for Hammer of the Week, or maybe a green panty night. And that is basically it, boys. It's been a long road with these Hammer of the Weeks, but I'm extremely proud of our record, especially the ladders, and hopefully we can continue to stack up those hammers and those ladders as we move on. If you want to get all of my bets, you know where to go. There's also a free Telegram link in my bio as well, where I give out free bets. If you don't want to pay and you only want free stuff, it's not as good as the paid stuff, the free stuff, but you can still get free stuff. The link is in the bio also for that. And outside of that, that is it. Peace and love, boys. Enjoy the card. I'll see you in the next one.